Good morning. Another Marky-mark video. Hopefully I'll get this one right. Hope you're all keeping well. Winter is coming. Onset of Christmas. It's all happening, isn't it? It really is. Shorter days and all the rest of it. It's not my best time of the year. I've got some ideas for some great videos coming up, so looking forward to doing those. I wasn't going to do another vinyl finds video until after Christmas, but I've managed to find some great records in the last few weeks, which I'd like to share with you. Excuse me, I've had a bit of a cold. I've not been very well. Let's start off. So, a bit of research on YouTube community. Decided I would dip into some of the sort of early heavy stuff, and somebody said, give this a go. Black Sabbath's debut album, self-entitled Black Sabbath, and had a little look around and decided to purchase this reissue 2015 by Castle Limited under license to Sanctuary, BMG. Nice cover, photographs being nicely. It's great. It's spooky as hell. I love it. It's a fantastic effort for the cover. And what I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I saw a few good reviews on this in terms of sounding, so I purchased it, and I'll get it out. First thing that really bothered me was the paper inner sleeves, which don't do records any good at all. And I thought, oh goodness, this is going to sound dreadful. Looks pretty, doesn't it? Looks nice. Excuse me. Side A, stunning. Ozzy's voice projects really well. This has been recorded really nicely. You can tell. Great separation of instruments. Everything's kind of leaping out at you. Side A was great. Turned to side B, and we got the dreaded infill on track 2, where it kind of goes all crackly and zippy. Washed it a few times, hoping that it was just junk in the vinyl. But washing records really has a lot. Does a lot of good to get rid of dust and the stuff that they use to unseal the record from the presser. But it's just junk. Such a shame. So I got another one, and I checked. Well, I played side B first, which was absolutely fine. Side A was just full of infill again. It's just such a shame. Gutted. So this one's probably going to go back as well. Really not happy at all. You can't listen to it, but such a shame. So I managed to speak to my record dealer down the road, Marios from Hussar Records in Exeter. Really, really recommend anyone who's in the area in the UK to pop in and see Marios and see what he's got. He's got a website, and picked up this. He had this that just came in. Admittedly, it was slightly more expensive than that newer reissue, but this is from NEMS. This is a NEMS. I think I said 1970. Is it 1978? Again, faithfully reproduced. But this is not obviously a first pressing, but cleaned up beautifully. It's 1976, and it's beautiful. Both sides fantastic. So new reissues are not always the best sounding records. Sometimes you have to go backwards. That's one of my learnings this year, certainly with the Iron Maiden album that I featured a few videos ago, where same thing happened. Most horrendous reissue, dreadful. Had to get an original. But yeah, Ozzy's voice. This has been a really well recorded album, and if you've not heard it, give it a go. Highly recommend it. So Black Sabbath. Anyway, when I first heard that, the first track, it kind of presents this, dark night, rain falling, pouring with rain, with the bell going in the background. And I thought, I've heard this before. I have heard this in another album. And anyway, I thought, I've heard that before. And it's from Ice-T used it in 1986, I think it is, on his album Iceberg. So one of the things I really liked about this, collecting records and listening to music, is you often find that a lot of artists will rip and pinch samples from other. I mean, everyone does it. A lot of the old jazz records, Art Blakey stuff, the drums and that, people have, for hip hop rap albums, you'll find you'll be, oh, that's from Horace Silver's Songs for My Father, and you'll pick up things. Anyway, that's one thing I really like. So I had to listen to Ice-T's Iceberg, and I was delighted to see that Music on Vinyl have done a reissue. 2015. This is fantastic. And on the beginning of this album is a track called "Shut Up, Be Happy," where he's obviously used the sample from Black Sabbath, from Ozzy, and you've got this narrator on a speakerphone telling the American public that America is under martial law. Anybody found outside will be shot, and it's really dystopian. And it's a great sounding album. I had this on cassette when I was 13 or 14, and there's Ice-T is one of those early West Coast rappers from the 80s, 90s that you didn't take too seriously. But I loved his music. I still listen to Original Gangster and Power. And I don't like the misogyny. I don't like the. It's a bit much now. It's a bit outdated. A lot of rap stars are moving away from, the kind of down talking of women. I don't like it, but I'll put up with it because it was of an era, and he uses a lot of samples, Ice-T. And if you listen to Original Gangster, he's got a lot of stuff there. He's got a bit of Curtis Mayfield, but on this one he's got You Played Yourself, which I'm not sure what sample that is, but I'm sure it's soul music of the day that he's pinched. If you listen to that track and you can tell me which song it is, I'd appreciate it. But this is Hype Sticker says Music on Vinyl, classic album, 180 gram audiophile vinyl pressing. It's spot on. It's perfect, as you'd expect from Music on Vinyl. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll see that I am quite a fan of Music on Vinyl. Good quality records. I don't know where they're pressed. I think it's Optimal in Germany, but really good shout on this. And they've given it a nice outer cover as well. And anyway, give this a go if you like that sort of thing. Completely chalk and cheese to my usual music diet of tone poets and other stuff, but that's what I love about this. It's great. So that's Ice-T's Iceberg. So I highly recommend it. Now, as I was in my local record shop, I picked up a second-hand copy of Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell. Really nice, clean copy. It's not a first pressing. It's on Epic, 1977, and it was £7. And I thought, why not? Sounds great. Lots of theatre with Meatloaf. He's one of these music artists that he kind of, it's just it is just like a play unfolding with a lot of gravitas and you could probably get it out of its cover. Maybe there we go. You see it a bit better with his hand on some girl's bum. I've not noticed that before. It sounds great, really good for £7. It's brilliant. Good. So along those lines, I then picked up. I couldn't help it, but Led Zeppelin 2, and I don't have any Led Zeppelin in my collection. This is on the Atlantic label. and it is a, what year is this? It'll tell me. One thing I'm quite careful of is sometimes with the original inner sleeves, I'll keep them if they've got any kind of print or patent number on them. And what I'll do is I'll wash the record and then I'll rehouse it in a brand new scratch-proof inner, and then put the inner inside the original, which works quite well. This is 1969. Sounds fantastic. Really good. And I'm getting into a little bit of Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and some of these older rock groups of the time. I'm really enjoying them. Yeah, sounds really good. Sounds really nice, that. And moving on. Now, I was watching Bob Bradley, who's another YouTube community contributor. If you haven't heard of Bob Bradley, then have a look at some of his videos. They are quite entertaining. And he featured this next record. He does a lot of crate digging, as they call it in the US. I'm not sure what we call it over here. There's not many crates in the UK to dig from, not down here anyway. But he featured this. It's Zoot Sims and the Gershwin Brothers on Pablo. This is a 1975 pressing, and three things that stood out for me about this record when he showed it. Firstly, I like Zoot Sims. If you've seen any of my previous videos, I did feature, I think I did, Jutta Hip, who was the first white jazz pianist signed up by Blue Note Records. And Jutta Hip did a fantastic duo with Zoot Sims. So it's Jutta Hip with Zoot Sims. It's a fantastic record. It is swingingly, brilliantly fabulous. And so when Bob featured this as one of his crate finds, I had to have a look, see if I could find it in the UK. And I'm pleased to say I found a lovely clean copy for about £8. It's just fantastic. The second thing that I like about this record, I just love the cover. What a lovely picture of Zoot. I think his real name was John Harley. He died back in the 80s, and he's just, I put him in the same league as kind of Lee Konitz. He's just fantastic. On this particular set, we've got Zoot Sims on tenor sax, Oscar Peterson on piano, so it's a winner anyway. We've got Joe Pass on guitar, George Mraz on bass, and Grady Tate on drums, and it sounds brilliant. If you like jazz and you see Pablo, anything to do by Pablo, I would wholeheartedly have a listen to it, because they're fantastic. They're on a par with other jazz record labels. I mean, it's on a par with Tone Poet in terms of quality, the depth, the detail, and they are just great, really well recorded. It's a really lovely recording. So that was that. So after that, I went on a bit of a Pablo hunt to see what I could find. Not much stuff was on Spotify to test before I could buy it, which is a shame. So there was a little bit of blind buying on here. So I picked up, this one for the first time, the Count Basie Trio, and again, sounds fantastic. We've got Count Basie on piano, Ray Brown on bass, and Louis Bellson on drums, recorded in 1974. And the Pablo stuff does seem to follow a similar theme, this kind of cover, black and white. So they're easy to find. And again, I think it was about £12 or something, but it sounds fantastic. Really happy about that. And I think I picked up another Pablo, which I haven't got here. I'll have a quick look. Let's have a look. Here we are. I put it away. Put it away because I put everything away. So this is the Bosses. And this is Count Basie and Joe Turner. And this was recorded in, I'm not sure what year, it doesn't say on the back. But anyway, this was also fantastic, well priced on the Pablo label. We've got piano and organ, Count Basie, Joe Turner on vocals. Vocals it's okay. He's pretty good. Eddie Davis on tenor sax and Zoot Sims on tenor saxophone. So again, Zoot Sims featured a lot on the Pablo record label. But anyway, fantastic. Okay, something very different now. An artist that I've followed for the last few years that has brought out some fantastic work. A Northern English folk singer, quite alternative. Brought out Peasant, I think, in 2017, 2018. Then brought out 2020 in 2019 for 2020, amongst all the chaos. And then has brought out this as a final part of the trilogy. And it's Richard Dawson's The Ruby Chord. Excuse me, I've got terrible asthma at the moment. This is a fabulous listen. There's a lot here to digest. Richard does a lot of alternative arrangements, and the first track on here is like 40 minutes long, and it's very dark, very foreboding, but incredibly rewarding, like his previous work. Unfortunately, it's not a gatefold. It's a double LP. It's on Weird World, and it's on Domino Recording Company Limited, and it sounds fantastic. I'm not going to even try and attempt to. I will try and attempt to describe it to you. I've described Richard Dawson's work as like Geoffrey Chaucer, who is a well-known English literature writer. He puts a lot of imagery in his work, and what he's tried to do with the 3 albums, starting with Peasant, was to try and depict a world a couple of thousand years ago. Each song is a story about a particular layperson struggling in life. He followed that in 2020 with songs about some of the issues that we deal with around social media, around the flooding, and just life being quite challenging, but also quite rewarding. And then he's brought out this, which it's a bit dystopian. It is a bit dystopian, but it's hugely rewarding. Richard Dawson, I think he's absolutely fantastic. I really do. And you won't go wrong if you're a bit open-minded. You like a bit of visceral engagement with your music. I wholeheartedly, and that's what I'm going to say about Richard Dawson. I think he's absolutely fantastic. This is a great record. Okay, moving on, something a bit different now. Came in from the pub a few weekends ago. I'd had a few scoops, and I was watching some telly. Jules Holland, live with Jules Holland, who showcases lots of bands on the telly, and he was doing his A to Z of the best of Jules Holland, and he showcased this, the XX, and I thought, well, I'll have a look. I'm going to see if I can buy that. And it sounds lovely. So it's a duet, chap and a girl. I don't know their names. This is a 2009 issue from Young Turks, and it's a little bit like it's just gentle, relaxing pop, folk. I don't know how to describe it, but I would certainly give it a go. It's really nice. It feels a bit like it's a bit Billie Eilish, where she's got this nice, soft, comforting voice, There's a lot going on there. There's a couple of songs that I recognise. I'm not going to get it out, but they've packaged it beautifully, done a good job. Very clean record, no problems whatsoever. It's perfect, actually. So that's the XX with this nice artwork here. Very nice indeed. Yes, something dropped into my Facebook feed fairly recently, which intrigued me, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna give that a go. Is this lady? I'm going to say her name wrong. I apologise. Alina Bzhezhinska and Hip Hop Collective. So, this is a Ukrainian-born, now London-based jazz musician. She's a harpist called Alina Bzhezhinska, and this is the album Reflections. And it's beautiful. It's a lovely listen. You know, I've got none of my jazz records feature a harp, and it's a beautiful instrument. I mean, there's tons there. She leads a lot of these songs with the harp. There's a little bit of rap scat type vocals on side D, I think it is. So she's there with this band, and it's a lovely listen. It's a little bit bloaty on the bass, I have to say. So mastering wise, I'm a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just being picky. But this was brought out this year, 2022, by the Orchard BBE Music, and it's lovely. There's some great influences here. You can hear straight away. Excuse me. It says in the liner notes that she was influenced by Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane. So you can feel that in the music. You can hear it. It's a lovely cover. I mean, that's the first thing that drew me, was that lovely cover. Beautiful. Really like that. What can I say about it? Recorded at the Fish Factory in London in December and August of 2021, so it was last year. And mastering and lacquer cuts by Frank Merritt at the Carvery. They've done a good job. I mean, it's spot on. Just a little bit, I think, because it's digital, I guess. I don't know, it just feels a little bit bloated in places. But it's, I mean, it's beautiful. My favourite here, African Flower on side C. I mean, it just, yeah, you need to check out Alina Bzhezhinska and Hip Hop Collective, Reflections. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. That's it for today. Thank you for staying awake, seeing it to the end. As I say, I'm a bit chesty, so I'm not feeling my best at the moment. I've got a few videos I'm going to be doing. I've got the Prodigy here, which I was going to show, I showed last time. As I say, sounds fabulous, really good. But yeah, thank you for staying around, and see you at the next visit. Take care. Bye. Bye.